Hello and welcome back to another writerly witterings with me, Michael Jex, the tea-drinking author who's currently without, but I'll survive. This is being recorded very urgently on Thursday morning, the 21st of September, mainly because the week has just run away with me. I will apologise now. I was intending to show some more dominant industry inks. It occurred to me that I've actually only made 2 videos about dominant industry. One was a generalised one, and the other only included winter wood, which is a beautiful, beautiful colour, and it's one that I'm going to be using very quickly because it is so lovely. I was going to do some things like that. I was going to do some writing samples and so on, but this last weekend I foolishly thought it would be a good idea to go away with 2 friends, and we took the ferry across to Brittany and cycled for 4 days across the north of France. Now, cycling's fun, especially in good weather and on nice countryside. And we cycled for, in the first day, 36 miles. And in the second day we did 52 miles. And in the third day we brought it down to 34, I think it was. And then the last day it was just a quick 14 miles into the ferry port to come home. That's all fine. But there were 2 things that were a slight difficulty. One was that I hadn't been on a bike for quite some time. The last time was in May, I think. And I then did 12 miles, 12 miles going up a very shallow incline, and then cycled back 12 miles coming down the same incline. It was an old railway track, which made for a very comfortable ride. And I was fine. The next day I woke up and my legs still functioned. There was no difficulty. So I thought, okay, I can easily do 30 odd miles if I can do 25. The second thing is, though, that you discover after you get to about double that, and especially when there's lots of hills, that you get a bit clumsy and sometimes fall off the darn thing. So I injured my elbow, which means I can't rest my elbow on a desk to write, which means my quality of writing has gone down somewhat. And I've had complaints about the quality of my writing before, so I didn't want to upset people again. But then yesterday I managed to do the great thing using a mandolin to slice up a carrot. I rather foolishly sliced my thumb instead, so I now can't hold a pen either. So I thought, rather than doing something about dominant industries today, which I'll do next week once that injury and that injury are better, I thought I'd just talk a little bit more about the wonderful thing I took with me. Now, I have lots of pens, you know that, I know that. I have nice simple ones ranging from the inexpensive, this was I think $25 when they were actually available, nice pen, works really well, to the really rather expensive. This is a Pineda, an Avatar Traveller, which is wonderful because it stores all that ink. It's easy to fill, and it's got a wonderful flexible nib that Dante Del Vecchio was good enough to send to me, and it is the pen that's in my shirt pocket every single day because I adore it. It feels perfect in the hand. I know a lot of people don't like the looks, but actually, when you just start using it, it feels so perfect. It has a nice, easy system with a magnetic cap, and that gold nib that's nickel or rhodium plated. I don't know exactly what it's made of, but it is gold. It's an extra fine, but when you use it, it comes out as double broad if you wanted to. It is just wonderful to write with. So it's with me all day, every day, in my shirt pocket. Trouble is, that's one of my favourite pens. I wasn't going to take that with me on a cycle ride. On a cycle ride, you have very limited storage space. I decided I was going to take my daily sketchbook, Did I manage to sketch anything? No, of course not. I also took my new A5 system, which is a Leuchtturm and a Cult Pens cahier, both together in a little wallet that I made up for myself, and that's very successful. Did I use it? No. I also took a nice small size A6, I think, sea white sketchbook, and I did use that. I did one sketch. After the 36 miles on the first day, I did a sketch. I was quite proud. I didn't get time to actually colour it in. I did have my set of paints with me, but basically, at the end of 36 miles, I was so tired that I went to bed at 9:30, which I was grateful for because the other two chaps decided they really wanted to meet up at 8 o'clock so we could leave before 8:30. Well, I went to bed, they opened another bottle of wine, so we didn't leave till about 10:30 the next day because they were both hungover, which for me was a relief because they are used to cycling much further than I am. Even so, I decided I was going to take a pen with me. What sort of pen, I wondered? I wanted something that would have a really good reservoir, like this. I wanted something that would have a variable nib, like this. And I wanted something that would, if I got desperate, take an ink cartridge, not like this. I also wanted it to be light, but something really pleasant to write with. And I came back down in favour of this. Now, you will possibly remember, because I was only talking about this a little while ago, this is a Tom's Studio fountain pen. And Tom's Studio is a little firm in Dorset, and they make very delightful writing and sketching tools. And it's important that you note that they are writing and sketching. They don't really want mass market fine nibs. I don't know, maybe they do. But what they're really looking for is, Tom's a designer, and he wants something that is going to look and feel beautiful. And the more I use this, the more I realise just how competent he is as a designer. So I'm going to talk about this again briefly to just explain why I really loved this and why I took it with me. The main thing is the reservoir, first of all. Now, you can do this with a number of pens, like the Kaweco. You can take it apart and fill the whole of the barrel with ink. Yes, you can. But every time I've tried it, the Kaweco has leaked everywhere in my pockets and made a god-awful mess. Another problem is that when you jar and bang something, then very often the Kaweco, I find, will splurt out ink into the cap. Now this has been in my trouser pocket for about a month. I'm just looking on the contents of the YouTube videos, trying to remember when I last did it. Ah, here we go. That was out on the 31st of August, so it's been in my pocket for about a week before that. So it's about a month. And yes, I've had a couple of drops come out, but this is in my pocket every day, taking the dog for a walk, going cycling, whatever it might be. And it only managed a couple of drops, even when the whole thing was full of ink. That's astonishing. That is really quite impressive. The nib can be a little bit scratchy. I might take it to a nib tuner at some point and just see whether it can be improved a little bit. But when I say a little scratchy, it's only on the upstroke. This is, I think, a semi-flex nib, which gives a huge amount of variety when you're writing because it's designed for calligraphy. It's designed for calligraphy on the go. Now, for me, I'm not so worried about calligraphy. I just like the fact that when I use a flexible nib, it makes my writing look a lot nicer. So, that's why I use them. But when you look at this, it's just so practical. First of all, it doesn't leak. Well, that's really good news. The reservoir size is fantastic. That's really good news. It's also dead easy to strip and clean. Let me demonstrate. The only bit you have to worry about, this is an empty cylinder, basically, which you fill with ink. So all the workings are here in the nib and feed. So all we have to do is grip the nib and feed and unscrew it. And then it all comes apart beautifully. There's the main section. Here is the working gubbins, which is helped by the fact that it's clear plastic going to the nib and feed itself. You can see in the top there, that's the puncher that when you have an international standard ink cartridge, you can just push it straight on and it'll work with that. So the design is simplicity itself. I love that. Just tighten that up. The reservoir size is enormous. It's not as big as my Pineda. It doesn't need to be. It's a travelling pen. It's not something I'll be writing with all day, every day. But if I did need to, I'd just carry a bunch of ink cartridges with me. And it works extremely well. I think it is supremely elegant in the way that it all works. When I am out and about, I often want to use a larger size pen. Well, this is considerably larger than a Kaweco, and it's got a good girth. It also has these very fine lines etched into the section so that it's, even with my heavily wrapped thumb after trying to mandolin it to bits, it still grips this pen. I can still use it. I like the fact that it's got a ground base, so you can set it upright on any flat surface. Here's a hook, got to hold it level, but it works. Similarly with the pen itself, so when you need to fill it, you just unscrew the section and use the provided eyedropper to fill that section with ink. It is simple but very elegant. It is very simple, very elegant, and after taking it with me across to France, still didn't leak, worked superbly well on the one day I was capable of using it. I was very tired. And I think this is going to be my standard travelling pen from now on. I'm not going to... I did take my Kaweco Sport with me, my brown one, which has been in my pockets for the last 20 odd years, but I think this is going to supersede it because it's metal. It feels better in the hand. I think it looks lovely, but the main thing is it's really, really good in terms of reservoir. So, in essence, I think the size is ideal. It's easy to strip and clean. There's no mess when I carry it around with me all the time. I love that nib. It feels and I think looks considerably better than the Kaweco. It's convenient and it has got that massive reservoir with the benefit that when you run out of ink, you can use a standard ink cartridge for ease of replenishment. I am really, really impressed with this. It's just a superb piece of design. So thank you very much again, Tom's Studio. I apologise to those of you who have already decided you don't want to know any more about these pens, but what can I say? I can't write. I can't film anything else. I'm just a walking disaster today. So thanks a lot for that. I hope you enjoyed watching through the video, and for those of you who really like pups, there's going to be a video of the puppy coming up shortly. I should just say she's now 12 weeks. We got her at 8 weeks. She was 6 kilos then. She's now 11.5. And her paws are enormous. I think she's going to be a big girl. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you like the other ones, do please take a look at my Patreon account. It's down the bottom. If you're interested in the videos of, or photos rather, of my trip to France, there will be a few down there, and you're very welcome to look at them for free. However, if you want to support the channel, you can also join one of the tiers on Patreon, which start out very cheaply, but they do help this channel. And then there's also super thanks and all the other good things down there. But if you also like and subscribe and share it and make nice comments about the videos, then that also helps me with YouTube. But for now, that's it. Here's the puppy. Bye-bye. So vicious. Woof.